Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing. Now, Charles Martin seems to be interested in a Dillian Whyte fight. Now of course we know that Dillian Whyte is looking to go to America for his next fight. There have been several names that have been mentioned. Charles Martin isn't one of those at the moment mentioned by Eddie Hearn, but it is definitely a possibility. Now, Charles Martin also said that he wants to rematch Anthony Joshua and he doesn't believe that that was the real Charles Martin. He was not 100% and he wasn't on it that night, so therefore Anthony Joshua got the victory, but next time he believes he can win. Well, Charles Martin wasn't necessarily not 100%. I would say that he was more afraid of Anthony Joshua, especially after the first knockdown. So it didn't really seem like Charles Martin wanted to be in there after being hit. I think that that was the problem more so than anything else. Almost like shell shock because he didn't believe Anthony Joshua punched that hard. Maybe he didn't underestimate him and how hard he could hit, but it is different actually taking one of those punches, and after that happened, he didn't want anything more to do with Anthony Joshua, and you saw that, the way he kind of waited until 10, then got up. It was almost like, do I want to continue? Do I not? If he did want to continue, and he was keen to go back after Anthony Joshua and go again, then he would have gotten up earlier. It wasn't like he was completely out of it. Maybe he didn't judge the timing right when he got up, and was trying to have every moment that he could, but still, he got counted out, he got stopped, and that's the end of it. Now he's looking for his next opportunity or next big opportunity. He has had some good wins. I mean, if you're going to count the Gerald Washington as a good win, he's been in and around there somewhere, and I do believe he is ranked number 1 by the IBF. So he's not doing too badly for himself. Perhaps given his position in the IBF, that wouldn't be such a bad fight for Dillian Whyte to take, considering this position that he's in. Is he going to get a WBC world title opportunity? I think that that is the big question for Dillian Whyte, because Trevor Bryan is being talked about. Charles Martin is happy to fight him. Charles Martin is number 1 in the IBF, and Trevor Bryan is WBA regular champion. So, depending on what Dillian Whyte wants to do, does he relinquish that WBC interim status and go for a different route? That could be something we see explored for Dillian Whyte from his team and Eddie Hearn at Matchroom Boxing, to see what other options are out there for Dillian Whyte to maybe go down a different route as opposed to sticking with the WBC, who have yet to give him his opportunity that he so deserves. Now, going back to Charles Martin seems to believe that Dillian Whyte would be a soft touch. He believes that Dillian Whyte gets hit too much and he will be able to land and probably stop Dillian Whyte. Now, when he says Dillian Whyte gets hit too much, that is down to the style he fights. So Dillian Whyte can fight many different ways. We saw how he fought Alexander Povetkin in the rematch. That wasn't necessarily safety first, especially given what happened the first time. But what he wanted to do was make it a young man's fight. So Alexander Povetkin had to try and muddle through that to try and come on strong later on, because he was never going to be able to stick there with the bullish style that Dillian Whyte implemented, and that's why he done it, because he wanted to get to him before Alexander Povetkin could find any kind of foothold in the fight, like he did last time. So it was not necessarily the most pretty performances, but it was extremely explosive and entertaining to watch, and he got the victory in the 4th round. Now, that was Alexander Povetkin at, I would say, world level. When has Charles Martin gone to world level? Since Anthony Joshua. So he's saying Dillian Whyte gets hit too much and he's there to be hit, but he hasn't been at that level since Anthony Joshua, so how can he say that Dillian Whyte would be a soft touch for him? Now, let's read what Charles Martin actually had to say. This is what he said. I want to welcome Dillian Whyte to the US with another KO loss. Whyte is an easy fight. He takes too many clean punches. Eddie Hearn don't want nothing to do with me beating this man. Whyte ain't shit. That fight would be a piece of cake. So there we go, that is what Charles Martin had to say. This is what he also had to say about Anthony Joshua and their fight. Anthony Joshua never fought the real me. Taking that fight when I was hurt and underprepared was the biggest mistake of my life. But it's a mistake I'm going to correct before I retire. It's the only reason I'm still fighting. So in those comments he's making excuses about the Anthony Joshua fight and also saying that Dillian Whyte is no good. He's a soft touch and he takes too many clean punches. I'm guessing for someone like him, someone who will exploit those weaknesses. Now, Alexander Povetkin did in the first one but was unable to in the second fight when Dillian Whyte made those adjustments. I mean, you still get caught, it's boxing after all. They cannot go in there and not get hit. That's a part of the game. But taking too many clean punches, that is down to the way Dillian Whyte fights at times. He's been in tough fights like the Oscar Rivas fight, like the Joseph Parker fight, and the Derek Chisora fight twice as well. So those are entertaining fights and trademark fights for Dillian Whyte. He has set this precedent of fighting the top guys back to back, fighting 50-50 fights that will intrigue and excite boxing fans. When has Charles Martin done that? Yes, he's fought Anthony Joshua, but look at the performance. And if he wants to make those kind of excuses, he's going to need to make more excuses than that to justify why he lost if he wasn't 100%. He cannot just say he was underprepared because he knew he was fighting Anthony Joshua. He knew that he was a world champion. I mean, he basically won the championship by default, but still, he was a champion coming over to the UK to make his first defense. So why would you be underprepared if that was your first defense of a world title? You wouldn't just be underprepared, you wouldn't be in a situation where you would give up your title because you weren't really ready for that fight, you were hurt going in. I mean, let's be real, what would you do? He's just become a world champion, he's undefeated. At that point, the world is his oyster, he can do whatever he wants. So in that situation, you have to wonder, why would Charles Martin still go into the fight if he was hurt? And the excuses he is making don't really justify what happened in the ring, because even if he was 100%, he still would have gotten hit by Anthony Joshua and the power would have been the same, and I don't believe he would have continued. So while he has made improvements since that fight, and fair play to him, getting back to number 1 in the IBF rankings, that doesn't justify him not getting up in that second round. He got up once, but then after the second knockdown, didn't want anything more to do with Anthony Joshua, and I believe that the same thing would happen in there with Dillian Whyte. I mean, can you imagine it? Dillian Whyte closing him down, hitting him hard to the head and body, and I mean, if you look at the way Dillian Whyte fought Joseph Parker, Parker tried to box, but Dillian Whyte turned it into a fight, and for a few rounds, Joe Parker didn't really want to be in there. He played possum, went into his shell. Can you imagine Dillian Whyte doing that to Charles Martin? How long do you think he would last with someone in there like Dillian Whyte? So with that being said, I would say that Charles Martin needs to be careful what he wishes for. Do we really think that he wants to take a Dillian Whyte fight, or is he just using his name as a platform, as a way to build his profile a little bit, and perhaps build his next fight? I mean, this is a guy who lost to Adam Kalnacki. Kalnacki just lost to Helenius. I know they're having the rematch, and I'd imagine there are some excuses in there, but still, he lost to Adam Kalnacki. That shows the level of Charles Martin. Dillian Whyte is beating guys like Povetkin, Oscar Rivas, Joe Parker, Derek Chisora. Any of those names would quite comfortably beat Charles Martin, and that's just because of levels, and we see that in the sport of boxing. So Dillian Whyte will likely fight a Trevor Bryan or a Charles Martin, maybe that other guy, Jermaine Franklin I believe is his name, the other big heavyweight from the US, 20-0, and I think that those are the fights that could be out there for Dillian Whyte at the moment. There are few options for him, so I wouldn't imagine he'd take an Andy Ruiz at the moment. That could still happen, but that is a fight that will be there for the future for Dillian Whyte. If the fight is offered to him though, I believe that he would definitely take it, but his next one I would imagine will be one of those guys, a Charles Martin, a Trevor Bryan. Just because he's taken the risks, he's taken the tough fights when he has been ranked number 1. The important thing for Dillian Whyte at the moment is getting a world title opportunity, not necessarily a Ruiz fight, and anyone else for that matter. I think that the most important thing is being smart and fighting someone who can get him in a position to fight for a world title, because he's been so close before, but the WBC still haven't given him his opportunity, so smart moves need to be made to ensure his world title chance comes maybe late this year or next year, and hopefully that can happen with the route he takes from here on out. Anyway guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.